this video, we are going to learn how to make a single crochet. So I'm beginning with my starting chain, and I have 20 chains in my starting chain. So normally, if you're going to work your first row of single crochet into your starting chain, you have, this is considered your first loop from the hook, and this is the second chain from the hook. So most of your patterns will tell you to begin in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to begin by putting our hook into this back loop. When you crochet, there is the back loop, the front loop, and if you turn your chain over, you can see these humps on the back. A lot of times in Tunisian crochet, you will insert your hook on the back hump. But for today's video, we're just going to work in the back loop. So we're going to insert our hook into that back loop, and we only have one strand of yarn across it. And similar to the starting chain, we're going to yarn over and pull through. So you have 2 loops on your hook, and then we will yarn over and pull through one more time, and you've just completed your first single crochet. So we will continue on down the row working single crochets, continuing to insert into that back loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2 loops. Continue on until you go through all of the chains in your starting chain. And you want to try to maintain a consistent tension so that your stitches are all about the same size and same tightness. And that's tension is just something that you have to learn by practicing and getting used to holding the hook and keeping the yarn held correctly in your opposite hand. Okay, and we've made it across to our final chain. And when you are working just single crochet, you're going to chain 1, so yarn over and pull through a loop, and then you're going to turn your work over. And when you turn your work over, I like to turn my hook where the yarn's facing the same direction. You can then, according to certain patterns, you can, here's the first stitch. And so you can stick your hook in here and come underneath both pieces, both loops, and you can yarn over and pull up. And this is how I do it most of the time. Some patterns will tell you to only go through the front loop. So you're going to come up through the middle of that, and you will yarn over and pull through. We'll do that on this row, just working in that front loop. And sometimes doing this might take a little practice, getting used to putting your hook in the right spot. This is a more economical yarn, so sometimes the yarn fibers might split a little. You want to make sure you get all of the fibers in that strand of yarn. so that it's consistent. And crocheting isn't about speed necessarily. You'll get faster as you practice, but it's about being consistent in your stitch sizes so that you can create a nice fabric and your stitches look even. So we're here at our last stitch, and so I accidentally put that one through the wrong one. So you can continue over to this last stitch and still through the front. Now we're going to chain one, turn our work, and you can see this line across here. That is because we only worked in the front loop. We left the back loop where you could see it. In this row, we'll work a traditional stitch. We'll go through underneath both loops, as I do in most of my patterns or pieces that I work. And it really just depends on what design, what look you're wanting for your finished product. Most blankets, I like to put work under both loops because I feel it makes the fabric a little sturdier just because you went under both loops. Okay, so now we're going to make sure we go under both loops on the end. Again, we're going to chain one because that's the height we need for a single crochet. We're going to turn our work over, and you can see by going under both loops, it created kind of a little triangle arrow point versus the ridge. I will do one more row working in the back loop. Pull out some yarn. And this is just in the back loop, and I'm still doing the same as the other two rows. I'm going under the loop, I'm yarning over, and I'm pulling through two loops, and I'm going to continue that across. And if you have any questions in these videos, please feel free to message me or leave a comment. Okay. We are at the end of the first row. And by working in that back loop, you can see it created this ridge. So if you continued and worked, turning your work, you would create ridges on both sides of your fabric. And that is all for this video. Thanks for joining me.